Hey up, it's Steve from that Old Yorkshire Geek, and welcome to episode 83 of Magnificent Mondays. And this week we're doing The Rocketeer. There it is on my Blu-ray, which I've just got. So reasonably priced at Amazon, and I thought, oh, I'll get that. He said, not bothered now. It's bloody terrible. Well, it's not terrible. Obviously, it's HD and all that, and it's a Disney, but there's no special feature on it apart from a trailer. So that was poo. Anyway, whatever. Right, Wingrace is here saying, I'm a Rocky 8 man. No notification today. Typical. I didn't do the intro, though, the countdown this time, so maybe that's why. I don't know, but anyway. Yeah, so we're doing, what was I saying? The Rocketeer from 1991. A long time ago, that, isn't it, now? But anyway, it's a really good film. But before we start, don't forget, like and subscribe, share the videos, drop a comment, hit the notification bell if you're subscribed already. Right, we should be live on YouTube. Let me check. Yes, we are. We should be live on Rumble. Give that a refresh. While that's doing that, I will check on Twitch. Yes, we're live on Twitch as well. And we're live on Rumble. Yes, we are. Right. I got the starts in 30 minutes one, but not the it's live. Oh, right. It's YouTube, innit? They just do what they want to do. Anyway, you're here now, anyway. That's all that matters. Right. Also, don't forget to check the description for links for stuff like merch, T-shirts, etc. What else? Me books. Let's dig these out. There they are. Me books, Mercury Rapids and Silent Predator. They're on Amazon, Kindle and paperback. Give them a whirl. I'm knocking things over. I'm knocking me pencils over. What else? What did I say? Merch, me books, other links for me websites and all that stuff. What else? Super chats and super thanks would be greatly appreciated. Join us in the live chat if you've been a subscriber for over 5 months or whatever I put. I've got to do this to stop trolls disrupting the chat. So I've tried members, now I'm trying subscribers. If you've been subscribed for a long time. Anyway, so that's so you can join in the live chat there. You can become a member, and then you get exclusive videos and early access videos and exclusive emojis in the chat. Anyway, right, so the Rocketeer, off we go. Hang on. Wish I could post my Rocketeer trading cards in the chat. The chat's a bit lacking, innit? It don't let you do GIFs, it don't let you post images. It's a bit... YouTube chat's a bit naff, innit, to be honest. Anyway, it's 2025, for God's sake. YouTube, pull your fingers out. Anyway, right, so some info about the Rocketeer. As I said, came out in 1991. Directed by Joe Johnston, who would go on to do, I think before this he'd done Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, which is another really good film. And then he would go on to do like Captain America. He's done loads of films now. The Wolfman with Benicio del Toro. I'm one of the few people that really likes that film. And all that stuff. Based on the Rocketeer comic or graphic novel, whatever you want to call it, by Dave Stevens, which I'd never heard of, and I've still never heard of it. I've never seen it. It always reminded me of the old Republic serials from the late 40s, early 50s, which I've got linked up here. So there they are, like King of the Rocket Men, which, hang on, see if we can see him flying. There he is. Chapter 1, Dr. Vulcan, traitor. I love King of the Rocket Men. It's really cool. And Commando Cody, not Commander Cody. Is it going to come on? What's happened here? Where's it gone off? There we go. Commando Cody, Sky Marshal of the Universe, which I must admit I've never seen. But no relation to Commander Cody from Star Wars, as far as I know. But essentially it's just using the same rocket pack. See if I can find a picture of him using it, or a shot of him using it. It's the same one from King of the Rocket Men. Where is it? Is he going to use it? There. Oh, that looks like some rocket ship, that, doesn't it? Going on there. Anyway, they're on YouTube if you want to watch them. And they're a lot of fun. Well, the King of the Rocket Men one is, anyway. But I've never seen Commando Cody, so there we go. Just search for them. But oh, crack, what have I done there? Just remove that. You're seeing me, me desktop. I usually get rid of me icons. There we go. Oh dear, what am I like? Justin's here. Where is the rocket? Cody Rhodes. No, it's not that one. It's not that Commando Cody. What do you want to talk about? Right, so where were we? The Rocketeer. It stars Billy Campbell. Quite a few Star Trek people in this film, which is interesting. Billy Campbell, Alan Arkin, Jennifer Connelly, Paul Sorvino, Timothy Dalton, and various other people that you've seen in Star Trek, like Max Groddenchik and I forgot his bloody name, Ed Lauter, Tiny Ron, etc. And I think James Horner did the music for it, I think. Yes, he did, James Horner. A rousing score. But again, you can hear some of his Star Trek music in it occasionally. James Horner, rest in peace, a great composer, but he did tend to reuse his motifs more than a lot of other composers, in my opinion. But anyway, whatever. At a budget of $35 to $40 million, box office of 47 million in the US. I don't know what its worldwide box office was. But I don't think it was a massive hit, even though it's a really, really good film. I don't think it found an audience so much. It's kind of become a cult classic. I'm looking on Wikipedia, but it doesn't say. I should have looked on was it Box Office Mojo or the numbers and see if there were anything on there. But never mind, whatever. It wasn't a massive hit, and it was generally well regarded, but not massive. You know, it got like above average scores from critics and stuff like that. But it is a really, really good film. It's a good, an old-fashioned action adventure. That's what it is. Where are we? Is he captain of the sky? Does he live in tomorrow? No, he ain't got a fighter plane that he flies about in. Although he does have a plane that he flies about in, as well as his jetpack. Box Office Mojo Jojo. That's a Powerpuff Girls reference, isn't it? Dear. Anyway, right, so is that it? Yeah, we'll get on with it, shall we? I'm not going to just watch the film, obviously. I've just noticed I'm proper full screen, aren't I? On all corners. It usually does that. There we go. It usually puts me in the middle with little sparkly bits on the outside. StreamYard, sort yourself out. Justin says it's a classic for people my age. It is, but a lot of people didn't like or passed on it. It's a good old-fashioned adventure. I like this probably much the same way that I like. I forgot what they call it now. Captain America: The First Avenger, another Joe Johnston film. Maybe it's just the style of film that he does. I don't know. In that it's just a good old-fashioned boys' own adventure with action and all that stuff and goodies and baddies, good and evil, etc. That's what goes on in this. It's a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun, and it just gets on with it. Right, so we'll get on with it. As I said, we'll not just be watching the film. We'll be going through it in a series of stills and all that stuff. I've forgotten how to talk today. It has that retro futurism feel. Yeah, it's got that kind of, Art Deco, whatever you want to call it, designs into that, this helmet and stuff. It looks amazing in my opinion because it's set in the 30s. Oh, pardon me. I wonder if him and Indiana Jones ever cross paths. That'd be a good crossover, wouldn't it? The Rocketeer meets Indiana Jones. That'd be good because they were in the same time period, weren't they? Anyway. Right, I will pop myself down in the corner. There I go. Oh, I've got to get rid of this first, haven't I? There we are. Right, add to stage. There it is. Off we jolly well go. It should just come on. I hope. There we go. For some reason, it's got like a double, what do you call it? Walt Disney card. Look, it says Walt Disney Pictures, and then it did on the Blu-ray anyway. And then it comes up with Walt Disney Pictures Presents, and I don't know why. Here we go. There we go. Why did it do that? I have no idea. Why did they give themselves 2 credits? Anyway, sounds like a good graphic novel. Yeah, or just a good novel, or a good film. Shall I write it? A fan fiction. Anyway, right, off we go. Here we are. We're going to be told. I think it says California, 1938 or whatever. Does it say? I might say it in a minute. Oh, there we go. We've got to do the titles, haven't we? There. We're cool. Let's see if doing the score. It's got a good score, a good theme that rouses you. It gives you the. It does me anyway. It makes the hair stand up on my arms and stuff. Doing it now. My hair's standing up now, listening to that theme. Anyway, right. So there we go. So here we are. There's the credits. They're bringing this plane out. This is the GB. I don't know what GB stands for, but it's a teeny tiny little aeroplane. Which is a real aeroplane. By the way, loads of real practical stunts in this. Obviously, there's no CG because it was just before CG started coming in. So they're all like, optical effects, practical effects, real planes flying about, etc. Obviously, the Rocketeer's not real, if you know what I mean. But anyway, so here we go. Here we go, the little plane there we go, the GB, which is a real plane that apparently were really hard to fly, and to be careful with it, because it had a tendency to break on landing, apparently. But anyway, so there's part, I forgot his bloody name on it, Alan Arkin as Peeves, who's the engineer. He designs the planes and builds the planes and all that for Clifford Secord, the Rocketeer, played by Billy Campbell. Billy Campbell, if you're a Star Trek fan, you know as the outrageous O'Connor from TNG and Prodigy as well, wasn't it? Were he in Lower Decks as well? I think he might have been. Saw someone else say it should cross over with the 1999 Mummy. I suppose it couldn't it? I suppose, but that was set in the 20s, wasn't it? But anyway. Sorry. Wingrace says it's a long-running comic series. Oh, the Rocketeer. That's it. I'd never heard of it. Still never seen it either. Rocketeer, and in the end, it was a graphic novel, really. All right, and then Wingrace says, "No, I thought you just met in general. He met Superman, I think, though." Cool. Anyway, right. So where were we? Right. So off he goes, going and testing this plane out. So off he's gonna go and fly this real plane. There it goes. Why is it so small? It's like something James Bond would use, isn't it? Anyway, so there you go. Based on the graphic novel The Rocketeer, created by Dave Stevens. Originally, there's no mention. By the way, I watched on YouTube. There's a making of that I think aired on the Disney Channel back in the day. Is that still going, the Disney Channel? Anyway, there's a making of. It's like 20 minutes. It's on YouTube. About the making. They never mention King of the Rocket Men or Commando Cody or any of that. And it must have been based on that. He must have got the idea after seeing that. Must Dave Stevens. He didn't just think it up, did he? I don't think he did. Anyway, right. There's William Sanderson, who you may know from Blade Runner. I don't know who he is. There's 2 Blade Runner, might be more, but there's at least 2 Blade Runner references in this film. There's William Sanderson there, who were in Blade Runner, and there's a location which were also used in Blade Runner. Why me chats? O'Connor was in Lower Decks, but not voiced. Fair enough. I can't remember. You know what I'm like. I think that plane was a racing plane. It's like I say, it's in. Got it in some notes somewhere. Where are we? Where is It says here somewhere. The actual GB used in filming was only allowed to land a very limited amount of times during its time working on the movie, as landings are extremely hard on the landing gear of this particular plane. The GB racer was nicknamed the Widowmaker and the Flying Coffin because it was incredibly difficult to fly and was prone to crashing. Because of its speed and manoeuvrability, some pilots still raced it despite the danger. Cool. Right. So off he goes, testing out the GB. There it goes, takes off. Now, there he goes. What else has Alan Arkin been in? Obviously, know the name, super famous actor, but I'm blanking on what else he's been in. Anyway, whatever. So off he goes, flying about. There we go. National Air Race is our next stop. That's what they're hoping. They're always talking about entering the Nationals. There you go, Los Angeles, 1938. But meanwhile, while this testing is playing out, there's a cops and robbers stuff going on, a car chase with Tommy guns and all that stuff. Looks like in the Untouchables, isn't it? But on the other coast. So they're shooting away. There's Max Grodenchik, who you may know from Deep Space Nine. He played Rom in Deep Space Nine. And others. He played in TNG and all. Played other people as well. Yes, Little Miss. Yes, he was in that. Yes, I remember that now. Anyway, so they're shooting away at each other. They're chasing while Clifford flies over and gets shot at. There we go. They hit him as well. So they're still chasing. Then he gets all oil on his windscreen, so he's got to punch. There we go. He's got to punch a hole in his windscreen, and then he's going to crash. Obviously, there he is. Anyway, what's happened? Max Grodenchik, there he is, has stolen something, and the other fellas in the other car, the FBI, they're chasing him, and he's driven into the hangar. Hang on, where are we? He's driven into the hangar. There we go. That's what he's stolen. It's the rocket pack. That's what he's stolen. And then we see that the fella in the back who had the Tommy gun, he's been shot. He's dead. So that's why he's saying lousy feds. So he swaps that, obviously a vacuum cleaner. He swaps that for whatever's in the case. Meanwhile, Cliff, whatever you want to call him, is going to crash. He sets off again. There's what's his name? Is it Lenny or something? I forgot his name. Let me check. Max Grodenchik. Where are you? Wilma. Where they get Lenny from? I have no idea. Oh dear. So he jumps out, and then there we go. Cool stunt, this, by the way. It was obviously real. I don't know, is it an actual plane, or is it suspended on the wire? I think they actually crashed a plane into that, knocked its landing gear off. There we go. And a one-wheel landing. Is this the most dangerous stunt ever? I have no idea. But it looks pretty cool. And a blowing up gas truck. Anyway, they get him out, so he's fed up. He's Cliff. He plays pop with the FBI. There's Ed Lauter as one of the FBI agents. He's been in TNG as well, Star Trek. He played the father of... I forgot his name. In that episode... I can't remember that either. What am I like? Oh, never mind. Look him up. Windgrace will tell me in a minute. Anyway, so they've no plane now. They can't enter the Nationals. They've no money. They've and all that. Why? And he socks Ed Lauter. There he is. And so he gets one back. And anyway, they take Wilma in. They've arrested him, and they've got the remains of what they think is the rock. Well, they don't know what it is, but it's something futuristic, a gizmo that was stolen. It turns out it was stolen from Howard Hughes. And here he is. We're going to see Howard Hughes now. We're at Hughes Aircraft, or whatever the hell he called it. There he is. Terry O'Quinn as Howard Hughes. You may know as Admiral What's-His-Face in Star Trek TNG. Why am I not remembering names today? I never remember names, do I? I'm bloody hopeless. Pressman, Admiral Pressman from TOYG episode The Pegasus. Yeah, also The Stepfather, which is a good film. If you get a chance, check out Catch-22 with Arkin. Oh, yes, I've seen Catch-22 many, many years ago. I was probably too young, actually. I always remember a fella getting killed with an airplane propeller in that. Howard Stark. I didn't say Howard Stark. Stop making me think I've said things. I know I said Howard Hughes. Anyway. Oh, obviously Howard Stark was based on. Yes. But anyway. So here we are. So they think they've retrieved it there, the rocket thing. And I wonder what all this says. I can't make it out. It's just too small. Hughes Aircraft Company. There's the blueprints for the rocket pack. It's called the Cirrus. Does it say? Can't make it out. The Cirrus something or other. Rocket pack. There we go. Get a better look at it there. Look. Anyway, so he's decided he doesn't want anything else to do with it, as Howard Hughes. If they had added him to Captain America like intended, it would have been Stark. Or is that what they're going to do? Anyway. I forgot what I was saying now. Oh, I decided he doesn't want anything more to do with it. By the way, originally, I think in the comic, I've not read the comic, but in the original material, the rocket pack was designed by Doc Savage, Man of Bronze, Ron Ely and all that. It was designed by him, but Disney couldn't get the rights to Doc Savage, apparently. So they changed it to Howard Hughes, which makes more sense for me, anyway. But, anyway. Was it Howard Hughes that ended up living in Las Vegas and became a germaphobe? That was Howard Hughes, wasn't it? I think it was, wasn't it? And designed the Spruce Goose, which we get a little nod to. This fella here, I know his face, and I don't know what I've seen him in. Let's have a look in the credits, see if it says that General or Colonel or whatever. Oh, God, there's some burping. I have no idea. I don't know. Can't see anything. Nah, I don't know. It looks familiar. I've seen him in something else. But anyway. So, as I said, the government wanted it because they wanted, to weaponise it and make soldiers that can fly about. But he says, no, that's it. The prototype's gone. He said 2 men have already died. Test pilots have already died testing this thing. He says, we should never dreamed it up. So he throws the blueprints on the fire. There we go. Chucks the blueprints on the fire. He said, never dreamed it up. And you can tell the president, his dream is over because Howard Hughes said so. There we go. Anyway, meanwhile, back at the hangar, at the airfield. That's the one positive of watching Amazon. You can see who is in each scene. I'm not watching it on Amazon. Sometimes, they have the X-ray thing, don't they, that to tell you who's in each scene. Doesn't always work right, does it? But Amazon's a bit hit and miss, especially with subtitles. Amazon subtitles are diabolical. Anyway, this is the fella that owns the airfield. I can't remember his name. See if it. I think it's Bigelow. Is it? Could be wrong. I think it's Bigelow. I think it is. I could be wrong. He owns the airfield, and he's telling them that they owe him money for the gas truck that exploded. And they said, "Well, we did crash into it." I said, "Yeah, but you crashing the plane into his car made him crash into the truck. So they owe him." So obviously they've no money, but they said they can do the clown act, which is an airplane trick thing where they dress up as a clown. So he says, right, you do that, and he'll take half of what they would earn to go to pay towards the gasoline truck. So That's what they're going to do. And use Miss Mabel there, another plane, a biplane. But he gets in, but then he sees, oh, there's something under the seat. And this is where Wilma hid the, there it is, the rocket pack. So, obviously, they don't know what it is. But, he presses the button, and it activates. They go, I wouldn't touch that if I were you. Boing, ding, bong. Round it goes, and he shuts it off. Wow, what is this? And then he realises, you can strap it on, so to speak. But it's not going to test it out straight away. They're going to tie it to. They're going to steal. They're going to steal a statue. There we go of Charles Lindbergh. Apparently, I didn't know. I don't know if it says. Does it say? It says Lucky Lindy's Flight School. There we go. So it's obviously named after Charles Lindbergh. That's a statue of Charles Lindbergh. Apparently. So they're going to use that to test the rocket pack. Anyway, right, so this is where we meet Timothy Dalton, who plays Neville Sinclair, a Hollywood actor in the vein of Errol Flynn, one of them sort of actors. I like Timothy Dalton, but he's never been my favourite actor. He always comes across as a bit, I don't know. I always think of him more of a theatre actor than a screen star. But anyway, whatever. So here he's playing Neville Sinclair. And we see him, he's actually practising here for a scene that we're going to see later on. You see he's got a sword. He's practising his sword fighting. But he's talking to Paul Sorvino, who plays Valentine, who's like a gangster. When Timothy was still Bond. Yes, he was, wasn't he? Was it? No, well, no. Technically, he still was, wasn't he? Living Daylights were 87. License to Kill were 89. This came out in 91. It were in that in between period, wasn't it? Anyway, we're in. Speaking of Blade Runner, we're in is it the Ennis house? Is that what they call it? Let me check. Yes, the Ennis house, which has been in loads of films, but it were in Blade Runner. It played. It was Deckard's apartment in Blade Runner, and the exterior. I think it was just the exterior. We're in House on Haunted Hill, the original House on Haunted Hill, one of my favourite films. I love that film. So with that built in the, I can't remember. Frank Lloyd Wright built it, didn't he, way back when, in the 30s or whatever. Anyway, so Valentine and his gang were supposed to steal the thing from Howard Hughes and give it to Neville Sinclair, and Neville Sinclair tells him it were a rocket, and he ends up pointing his sword at Eddie. I think it's Eddie. No, it's not Eddie Valentine. It's him from Who Framed Roger Rabbit, isn't it? Does he have a first name? Hang on just a minute. He did it. Oh, it is Eddie Valentine. Is it Eddie Valentine in Roger Rabbit? Can't remember now. Anyway. And Josh Temple's here, harpoon at the ready to catch some rocket men. It was going to do GoldenEye, but felt too much time passed. I think there was a lawsuit. Loved that house also. I thought they just dropped him. I thought they essentially he didn't get the call to return as Bond. I thought that's what was going to happen. I thought that's what happened. Obviously, Pierce Brosnan became available, didn't he? And because they'd wanted him before, hadn't they? They kind of begrudgingly gave Timothy Dalton the role of Bond. It was supposed to be Pierce Brosnan after Roger Moore, wasn't it? But bloody Remington Steele put a spanner in those works. That were it, yes, it was Eddie Valiant, wasn't it? Not Eddie Valentine in Roger Rabbit. Close. GoldenEye felt like it was more of a Dalton Bond film. I don't know. I think Pierce Brosnan made it his own, didn't he? Sorry, forgot to knock. Anyway, whatever. Right, so Valentine is he's trying to say, we don't want to work for you anymore, but he points his rapier, I can say that because that's what it is, isn't it, at Valentine, got it to his throat, there we go, and he's telling his boys to calm down, says, get that, I want that rocket, I will pay you double, and he does a little thing here now, which is actually repeated later on, so as I said, he's practising for this role. As you can see, the rapier's not sharp. Look, it's not sharp. But he does a thing here. Look with the flower there, and he does that later on in a film that is filming. Piers Bronson. I didn't say it. I said Brosnan. Stop telling me I'm saying things that I'm not saying. Piers Brosnan. I'm not Gary from bloody Nerdrotic. He always says it wrong. He says, bring that rocket, I'll double your price. He says, you'll triple my price. So they've got an understanding. Anyway, so his phone's up. He goes to the telephone, which you can see there. And he's going to phone up Lothar. I think it's Lothar. Played by Tiny Ron. Just let me check. Lothar, where are you? Where the heck is he? Why is he so low down on the bloody cast list? Where the hell is he? Hey? What's that? Bloody hell, he's way down the cast list. And he's like one of the main characters. Yeah, Lothar. Oh dear. Tiny Ron. Again, another Star Trek alumnus. He played Grand Nagus Zek's bodyguard, servant, whatever, in Deep Space Nine, didn't he? Anyway. Cubby always wanted Dalton. He wanted him all the way back in 1968. Yes, he did. Well, I think he auditioned, didn't he? But they felt he were too young. I think he was on in his 20s, wasn't he, back then? But anyway. I wasn't making fun of you. That's old internet law. Okay, fair enough. I used to love Remington Steele. I think I only saw one or two episodes. It was all right. It was something, I saw occasionally, but I didn't tune in regularly. Right, anyway, so he's phoning up Lothar, played by Tiny Ron. There he is taking the call. Go and deal with it. Lothar's based on, I've forgotten. An actor from that time. How does it say? I've got it here somewhere. Lothar, where are you? Who is based on? There we go. Rondo Hatton. He's based on Rondo Hatton. You'd know his face. He was in a lot of old films from the 40s. He played a heavy. He had a very distinctive face, and they've based Tiny Ron's appearance on him. He's got lots of prosthetics on. Oh, pardon me. Right, so they're going to test this rocket back on Charles Lindbergh's statue. Anyway, so here we go. That's what they're going to do. They call him Peeve. I don't know why they call him Peeve, because his name's Peabody. Where don't they get the V from? But anyway, whatever. So here we go. Off it goes. And he's rigged up, a remote control for it, so to speak. So off it goes. There we go. And it's there it is in a flying fashion. They've tied it to the ground, but obviously it gets loose, look, and heads off into the night sky. But pretty soon it's on its way back. Does it have a homing signal? It must have. Here it is. It's on its way back. By the way, I think the effects for this really do stand up, even though they are old style effects. Sometimes you see a bit of a black line around things. I still think they really do stand up, the effects. Plus, there's still a lot of practical stuff going on, such as that. They turn it off. By the way, I think earlier on when they tested it, he said it was still cold, even though the rocket had been going. The thing was still cold. So is it some kind of cold flame? I don't know. That's a good name for a band, isn't it? Anyway. Right, so they take it back. And he said he wants to borrow it. He wants to borrow it to earn money. They think people will pay to see this jetpack being used, rocket pack, whatever. But then he looks at the top of Charles Lindbergh's head and he says, "We're going to need a helmet." Dun dun dun. Right. Meanwhile, we're going to meet Jennifer Connelly, 20-year-old Jennifer Connelly. Here she is. Oh no, here she is. Putting her stockings on. There she is. She's never looked better, has she, to be honest? As she got older, she kind of got all scrawny, didn't she? I think she did anyway, but she's, a young... But anyway, whatever. She's the girlfriend of Cliff. She plays... I've forgotten. What's her name? I can't remember. What am I like? Oh, dear. Jenny, yes. Jenny something or other. Originally, she was called Betty Page, apparently. Jenny Blake in this in the original work, which is called Betty Page, named after the famous model Betty Page. Fresh off your favourite film, Labyrinth. Well, not quite fresh off, but yeah, bloody Labyrinth. Go and check out the Monday Moan. It's in there somewhere. I still don't like that film. It does my head in. I admire the makeup and the Muppets and stuff in it, but anyway, the film itself, I'm not a fan. Anyway, so he's gone to pick up Jenny from where she lives. Is it a sorority or is it just a place? I don't know. But anyway, is it a place? I think it's like somewhere where like working actresses live. I think so. I don't know, but anyway, she lives there. He's telling Cliff locks up at 11 sharp. Anyway, right. They're going to see a movie. Obviously, a Neville Sinclair movie. He wants to go watch a Cagney one, but she wants to go see Neville Sinclair because we find out that she's got a role because she's an actress and she's got a speaking line in the Neville Sinclair film that she's appearing in. Anyway, so off they go. Meanwhile, the newsreel, I imagine. Hitler's marching across Europe. Yes, there's a newsreel. And then we learn that there's the Luxembourg Zeppelin is on a tour of America to promote world peace. Anyway, so that'll come back later in the film. She actually was Betty Page in the comics, which got them in hot water when they drew her in the buff. Oh, there you go. Yep. Anyway, right. Oh, right, we're also told, though filled with explosive hydrogen, they learned nothing, did they, from the Hindenburg. Anyway, it's showing them where they're going. They're starting over in the east coast and heading over to the west coast before finally arriving in Los Angeles. Anyway... Meanwhile, Lothar's going to deal with Wilmer. I keep wanting to call him Rom, but here he is. Oh, he's going to show us his face. Oh, not going to show us his face, is it yet? We're not going to get a good look at him yet. But there he is. Oh, here he is, look. He's saying, where is it? There we go. Get a look at him now. He's asking him where it is, and he eventually tells him, he says it's, there we go, where's the rocket? And he says, it's in the hangar, I've hidden it, I've stashed it. But Lothar kills him anyway. Look, bursting in. Look. Meanwhile, at here they are at what is it? The Bulldog Cafe. I think this is next to the airfield because all the pilots and stuff seem to be eating here. And there's William Sanderson again, and whoever he is. And this is where Cliff. I keep wanting to call him Billy. Cliff. Has taken, after their movie, he's taken her for something to eat, taking Jenny there for something to eat, but she wants to go to some posh club that's in town. Anyway, they're making fun of the Neville Sinclair film, by the way, but she's defending it. But anyway, she gets soup spilled on her ample bosom, but she's fine because she's nice. Anyway, he hasn't told her about his crash and his near-death experience. Go ask Dick Tracy. He did look like a Dick. It's another film I've never seen. That, by the way, the Dick Tracy film. I never got round to watching that. But yes, he did look like a character in that, didn't he? He hasn't told her about his near-death experience in the GB, and now this fella at the bars blurting it out that he almost died. But anyway, I think she suggests. Hang on, it might have been earlier on. She suggests that they go to this other club. I forgot what they call it. Where Neville Sinclair goes. It's a very posh place, and she says, "Why do we have to keep coming here?" And it just reminded me of Shaun of the Dead, because I was sat watching it. He says, "Why can't we go somewhere else?" And I was going like that. Go to the Winchester. Anyway. Right, so anyway, she goes out and he goes after her, but it's too late. So they've not fallen out, but Malcolm's a bit of a div. Malcolm was a pilot in World War One, got shot down by the Red Baron, by the way. And he's not flown since. Late 80s and early 90s, says Justin, had a lot of these retro futurist movies. Dick Tracy was good. As I said, I've never got round to watching it. And I've heard it's really, really good. But I've just never got round to it. Anyway, whatever. Right, Peeves is sorting out a helmet for Cliff. Anyway, they're talking about Jenny and all that. So saying to him, you don't want to lose her. She's a good girl, etc. Anyways, there we go. He's made the helmet look. I bet music's playing. I bet we get a bit of the theme. Let's go back a bit when he looks at it. I want to hear it. Or maybe not. I thought there might have been a bit of a stirring of music, but never mind. It was another movie that don't get respect. Didn't it win an Oscar or something for the makeup effects? I think it did. Might be wrong. I said I'd never got round to watching Dick Tracy. Anyway, right, so I made the helmet. Right, we're on the set now of... why is it... The colours are something weird, aren't they? Anyway, never mind. We're on the set of the Neville Sinclair film. Here they are. This is what he was practising for, because he's going to show it in a minute. There we go. We see he's got a rose there, and it's just like he was with Valentine. And they're fighting away, and they don't know who he is. There's the laughing bandit. And he actually laughed at this. It was funny. But me, so they don't know the identity of the laughing bandit. But he takes off his mask and says, "Oh, it's you!" Oh dear, not there. Anyway, so like I say, doing some stunts and stuff, and it killed the bad guy. Does some stunts. There he goes. And then she comes up, but we see that she's got what was supposed to be Jenny's line, but apparently she's the producer's daughter or something. So they're giving the line to her, and she's rubbish. You can see she's a rubbish actress, but she's the producer's a relation of the producer's niece or something. So they're cut. They've got to go back to first positions. There's Jenny and her friend. I think she lives with her in that place. Just as background actors now, extras. It came later, but I really like The Shadow too. That's with Alec Baldwin, isn't it? I think I've seen that once a long time ago. Looks like the same set from Cupid. It's your bog standard Robin Hood type castle set, innit? Anywho. C114, take 28. Crikey. Anyway, Cliff's arrived now. It's supposed to be a close set, and he's watching from behind the scenery, and it all goes wrong, and it falls down. Hang on. There we go. The set falls down. Cliff's fault. So I'm looking for Jenny Blake. So he's going to get Jenny fired. But somehow, for some reason, I'm not sure. I think it's genuinely an accident. This fella who were fighting has actually got stabbed. I don't know if he'd stabbed him on purpose, because Neville Sinclair's a baddie, as we know, and did it on purpose just because or if it just happened because of the scenery falling down. I don't know, but he seems all concerned, and he says, "Get him to the hospital." Blah blah blah. Get that Jenny banned from the lot. But then he hears them talking. There we go. His ear-wigging look. And he hears them talking about that he's found a rocket pack, and it's going to be cool and all that stuff. So obviously he goes running after him, but doesn't catch up to him. So then he finds Jenny, goes seeking out Jenny, and says, "You're not fired. I'm going to take you to dinner." There we go. So he's at the South Seas Club. That's where she wanted to go, not the Winchester. James Horner, Jerry Goldsmith, Hans Zimmer, their music, you always know it's them. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And Alan Silvestri as well. The one recent, what were I watching recently? Me and my mate were watching a film recently. I can't remember what film it was. But I listened to the music and I says, "That sounds very Alan Silvestri." And the credits came up and it was. And I thought, "Oh, cool." I can't remember what film it was now. Never mind. Right, so there you go. He's taking her out to dinner at the South Seas Club. So there we go. So is this going to be a love triangle? Not really, but anyway. Right, so next day or whatever, they're at the airfield. A good air display. It actually looks like a lot of fun. It's been a long time since I've been to an air show. But I'd like to see something like this, where the racing planes. I've never seen that. I've been to like air shows where they've like military planes and stuff flying about, Vulcan bombers and Harrier jump jets and all that stuff. A long time ago, but this looks like fun. But so there we go. Everybody's having fun, watching the planes flying about. But he says, Cliff's late. Where is he? He's supposed to be doing the clown thing in that plane. He says if he's not here, in 2 minutes, he's fired or whatever. So Malcolm overhears this, so we're just selling programs. Where are we? John Williams did Superman, didn't he? I'm trying to remember what we were watching. It wasn't Superman, obviously. I don't know. Anyway, whatever. Yes, he did. So Malcolm's going to go and fly the plane. He's going to put the clown outfit on and go and fly the plane. Meanwhile, Eddie Valentine, I nearly said Valiant. Eddie Valentine and his goons have arrived. They're going to start searching the place for the rocket pack. And his goons have already looked in the hangar, and all they could find was there's all this weird stuff. It's like an overlay, isn't there? Over the image somehow. This like orangey area. I don't get it. Right, that's Valentine, isn't it? Just a minute. It's gone now. Wonder if it's just like oh yes, it's like an after image, isn't it, from the previous scene? Oh right, so fair enough. Considering your schedule, it must have been an episode of DS9 Season 1. I've just finished watching all of Season 1. I was thinking I'm not going to make it again this week, and I have. I used to go to the air shows for no idea what that means, Josh. To talk to people. Missed one show years back, was very sick, and it was the day a plane crashed into the stands. Oh, blimey, next to where we had our booth. Lucky then. Sorry, Steve, I dragged the stream down with useless trivia. It's fine. It's better than my useless trivia. No such thing as useless trivia. All trivia is amazing, in my opinion. Oh, there we go. Nevada Department of Transport. Right, fair enough. That's it. It's a long time since I've been to an air show. I'm trying to think now. It will have been in the 1980s. This is how far back I'm going. Before my son were born. There's an air base. Well, there used to be an air base near where I live called RAF Church Fenton, where they always had air displays and stuff. As I said, there are like Vulcan bombers flying over and Harrier jump jets and F-16s and stuff like that flying about. It was cool. Anyway, I've probably got some photos in an album. Remember them photo albums? I've got photos in an album from me air show days with tiny little aeroplanes in big blue skies with little tiny aeroplanes. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, right, his goons have searched the hangar, and all they found, they didn't find the rocket pack. All they found was a photo of Jenny, a headshot. I'm guessing he calls it. It looks like a headshot that she'd hand out. You know, being an actress, wouldn't it? But anyway. Wingdress says they practice air shows over my house for the air show nearby. When I was a few years old, I saw a stealth bomber. I went screaming down the street that aliens were here. Some people have suggested that there's some reverse engineered alien technology in stealth bombers. Anyway, I once saw a thing. Stealth bombers have been around longer than you think. And what was it now? I once saw a thing where, pardon me, somebody were looking at a stealth bomber. There were the one parked up at an air show. And apparently, back in the day, I don't know if it's right now, but back in the day, when they had them at air shows and displays and stuff, they'd never allowed you to go and look round the back of it. The one that didn't, they're cording it off or whatever. You couldn't get a close look at the engines. But somebody, they kind of look other places, and somebody said they saw like a plaque on it, and it said that it entered service in 1982 or something like that, which were like 10 years or some before it officially entered service. But there was another thing that said something about, I'm sure it said the 60s. I don't know, but anyway, whatever. Anyway, where were we? Oh, right, yes. So now this is a clue. We're going to try and find a. Don't know why. Just a random photo. I think it's a clue, I suppose. But they're using that. Anyway, right. So. The plane takes off, and they say it's Cliff Secord, the fearless freep, and obviously they think it's Cliff flying that, and they realise it's not because he's there. It's Malcolm. He hasn't flown for 25 years. What's he going to do? And obviously the plane, something goes wrong with the plane, and it's in trouble. So he goes to get the rocket pack, and this is where we're going to see the Rocketeer for the first time. Before they could talk about the F-35, a general had one at his base and showed it off what it could do and was fired shortly after for it. I'm not surprised. Anyway. Is the F-35 the one that can take off vertically? I don't know. I'm not big on planes. Or anything for that matter. Anyway, so as I said, the plane's nearly crashing into the racing planes. So there goes Cliff, going to get his rocket pack. There it is. They've looked through this place, haven't they? All they found with the photo. They didn't notice the bloody helmet there. But anyway. So here he is. Off he's going. He gives him his lucky gum. By the way, Cliff has his lucky gum that he's got to have when he flies. So off he goes. There, he looks up. And I want to know why it doesn't burn his bum. Look, it should burn his bum and the backs of his legs. As I said, is it a cold flame? As I said, great name for a band. But so off he goes. Where is he? Here he comes. Look. I still think the effects are really good. I do. But for what they are. Hopefully they took the recall device out before letting anyone test fly it. Don't know. Anyway, so here he is. He's coming to save. Where are we? There we go. He's coming to save Malcolm. There he goes. Off he goes. By the way, Industrial Light and Magic did the visual effects for this film. Ken Rolston was the fella in charge. So some of the shots that you see of the Rocketeer, it's actually a puppet, and there's a bit of stop motion photography and stuff like that. But some of it's actual stunts like this. Very Tom Cruise. Because he's going to do that in the new Mission Impossible film, isn't he? Hanging on a biplane. That's a good name for a song. I have to remember that one. Stargate SG-1 Tangent. Oh, where they tested the X3. Oh, right, I get it now. See, you're too vague. I know what you mean now, yes. There's an Air Force base near me, says Justin. See all kinds of planes, helicopters. The best one, a B-52 bomber. And a B-1 went by. Awesome. Yep. Don't get anything round here very often. Police helicopter flies over. You get lots of aeroplanes, just regular ones, because there's an airport, I don't know, 15 miles away. We're on the flight path. But nothing much else. Anyway, so he saves Malcolm. He falls out first, by the way. He's saying, it's all part of the show. It's all part of the show, is what he's saying. Anyway, so he comes back. Saves Malcolm. The plane's going to crash. Here we go. The plane crashes. There we go. Into another fuel truck. There we go. So that's another one gone. And they're saying, it's all part of the show. So he's lost more money. Anyway, saved Malcolm. Malcolm's fine. But they're all out to get, they want to catch the Rocketeer. There he goes. Looks cool, doesn't it? I think it looks really cool. Better than the Mandalorian. Winger says, we also get lots of helicopters looking for people growing weed in their fields. I thought it was legal now. Does it depend on the state? I have no idea. So there he is flying around. He flies up to this plane and he's going to salute the pilots, and then it all goes wrong. I think it's this one. There we go. Salutes. It accidentally turns off the pack, and so it goes plummeting again. Flying through that woman's laundry. These two say something amusing. What do they say? I can't remember. By the way, here he comes. I wonder if that were a stop motion. I don't know. There we go. Big gopher. Anyway, so he goes scuttering across the water. There we go. Is that an actual word? And comes to a halt. And he says, I like it. Anyway, so they get out of there. But the feds are coming, or the bad guys, or both. I don't know. But they're coming anyway, wherever they are. Can't get the truck started. So he uses the rocket pack. Off he goes. Use the rocket pack. There we go. That's a bit poo, that, doesn't it? But anyway. So they've made their getaway. Anyway, the bad guy... it's the press have arrived now because of all the excitement at the air show. They're trying to think of a name, what they can call this Rocket Man. And said, what about Missile Man? And the Rocket Man and all that. And he looks out, sees that sign, Pioneer. Says, what about Rocketeer? So that's what they're going to call him. Rocketeer thrills crowd. Man flies without plane. Senate sessions continue. What does that say? Don't know. Windress says it's legal to buy it from government-approved businesses, not to do it yourself. Oh, right, fair enough. But it's America, it's the land of opportunity. It is based on state, right, fair enough. Right, so the Rocketeer's become famous now. Look, and he's smiling, smug, because he's the Rocketeer. But Neville Sinclair's not happy because he wants that rocket pack. And then, meanwhile, Howard Hughes has ascertained that the feds brought him a burned-up vacuum cleaner. So the rocket pack is still out there somewhere. Where are they now? I think they're at the... yes, they are. They're at the airfield, the office of... I think it's called Bigelow. You see that he's being killed. It looks like he's been bent in half. Lothar's obviously got hold of him because I think they said earlier on with Wilma, it looked like he'd been tied like a pretzel or whatever. There we go. He's been folded in half. So Lothar's had his hands on him. and killed him to death. And there he goes, written down somewhere on the, it is Bigelow, on this pad, 1635 Palm Terrace, which is where Peeves lives. And there he's, I presume he's just drawn all these plans, because he's a really good engineer. Anyway, where were we? Back to the chat. Should have looked around the room at a rock, then a picture of it, and then a man. Then an ear, sorry. There are guys that live where I do, says Josh, that own and fly a B-25, and my mum got permission for me and my grandpa and my stepdad to go up with them one day. It was as it was what my step-grandpa was shot down in. All right, cool, bet that was exciting. He was a prisoner of war, got rescued by the French resistance. Well, I hope he made it out all right. I'm guessing he did. But cool, bet that was fun. See, nothing like that ever happens to me. I've only ever flown 4 times. Once to Spain and back, and once to Egypt and back, and that was it. That's all I've ever done. Anyway, here he is working on his plans. Look, working on the plan, working out how the rocket pack works and how we can improve it. But Lothar's here, but Cliff arrives just in time. And then the feds arrive and start shooting up the place, because Lothar's beating up Cliff. Where is it? So they start shooting up the place to the FBI. There we go. Because they start shooting because Lothar pulls his gun out and starts shooting. So they start shooting back. Think bloody Bonnie and Clyde, look. But obviously they get away, and Lothar gets away, and they get out with the rocket pack. And escape. Just about. Meanwhile, at the South Seas Club, I nearly said Income Paint Club. Pardon me. This is where, because remember, Jenny's gone on gone out to dinner with Neville Sinclair. Hey dear. So there she is, looking resplendent. And I thought, is she going to be somebody famous? I have no idea. I don't even know if it's her singing. She's singing a song, but I have no idea who she is. I looked her up. Somebody I've never heard of. With Grace or somebody's going to tell me now that she's super famous. I don't know who she is. Anyway, so he's kind of trying to seduce Jenny. But here comes W.C. Fields giving it, so my boy, and all that. He's giving it all that. And there you go, introduces her. But then, Clint Howard arrives. I don't know if we see him again. But Clint Howard arrives and whispers in his ear that, I don't know, it's a phone call or whatever. It's Jan from... I knew somebody would tell me. I don't know. I've never seen the US Office. Never seen it. Anyway. So it's to leave her for a moment, and W.C. Fields will look after her. So, talking about the rocket pack and all that. It's been harder for them to acquire than they thought. But anyway, so they're wondering what to do next. The goons go round. There they are. The goons go round to the cafe. There they are. And start wrecking the joint because they want to know who Clifford Secord is, but they're not giving him up. But they do eventually, obviously. Anyway, no, they don't. No, they don't give him up. But they see that there, and so there you go. He phones it up, finds out where she lives. So they're going to go over to. No, they find out that she's at the South Seas Club. So they're right. So they're going to go over to the club. Anyway, a big fight ensues. There we go, and they get away. Puts his rocket pack on. He's got to go and save Jenny. So off he goes to the South Seas Club, and he's put some... I think, by the way, in the shootout that happened, it got a bullet in the fuel tank, so it plugs the hole up with some gum. Remember, he had his lucky chewing gum. So there we go, sticks his chewing gum on it to stop the leak, which we'll come back to later in the film. Right, off he goes. Keeps blowing Peeves down, doesn't he? Heading to the South Seas Club. Right, so he's still trying to seduce her, but she's not really with it because she's thinking about Cliff. But they're going to dance. There we go. And he's telling her, I can offer you the stars, I can make you a superstar, and all that stuff, blah, blah, blah. But she's not really enamoured with him. I think she thinks he's a bit of a fake, which comes to play later on. But anyway, at the moment she hasn't realised that, but she does later on. Meanwhile, her from the office is still singing. There you go, she's thinking about Cliff. Anyway, Cliff's arrived. And she's telling him all about Cliff, that he races planes. By the way, Cliff's arrived and he's disguised as a waiter. Have I gone past him? Is he here somewhere? He's hidden the rocket pack in the laundry room. Where the hell is he? Oh, for Pete's sake. Because he's left that note there. There we go. Meet me by the big fish. Is there? Look, it's skipping over the bits where we see Cliff. Is it there in the background? Look. Oh, for Pete's sake, stupid film. Where are we? Shows Cliff in his disguise. Oh, for crying out loud. Stupid film. Anyway, whatever. He's left a note for her there. Meet me by the big fish. There he is. Pete's sake. And he's giving them soup. So he's covering up the note he's just given with some soup. And spilling it all over and all that stuff. Anyway, so he goes talks to her, says, they've murdered Bigelow and they've shot up the cafe and Neville Sinclair's involved somehow. And he says, I'm the Rocketeer. He says, what are you talking about? He says, haven't you read the newspapers? I've been working. There you go. He says, go and get a taxi, a cab, and go to your mother's, and there you be safe. Meanwhile, back at the table, he sees the note. Look, he sees the note. So he realises something's up. There's Neville. Meanwhile, Lothar's arrived. So it's all going to kick off now. There we go. He encounters Lothar. There's a chase through the club. He gets to his rocket pack and just heads into this laundry chute. And they break in, and just as they're going to get him, he flies out of the laundry. And doesn't look great, but here he comes. There we go, out of the laundry thing. Why ain't his bum burning? I don't understand. Cold flame, it must be cold flame. But yet he's setting things on fire in a minute, so I don't understand it. But I haven't to overthink it. So here he comes. Looks all fun and games. She misses two taxis, then she finally gets one, and then she sees the commotion inside, people coming running out. He's flying about. Look, he's setting fire to things, so it is a flammable flame, but it's not burning but he must have super flame-proof trousers on or something, I don't know. Asbestos kecks. But he's flying about, everybody's ducking for cover. Neville Sinclair picks up a Tommy gun and shoots that. They've got a big net, because it's the South Seas Club, isn't it? So there's a big net, a fishing net, I'm guessing. I don't know. To go with the nautical theme, I don't know. There you go. He shoots that down. In a minute. There you go. Can't keep his eyes. Not Richard Benjamin, is he? Or Yul Brynner. He can't shoot without closing his eyes. Anyway. And so he gets covered up by the net. There we go. But he still gets away because he just flies up through the ceiling. Because I think he's telling, don't shoot him, because he wants the rocket pack. So he escapes. But Jenny makes her exit. Off there goes Cliff. Jenny thinks she's escaped, but Neville knocks her out with chloroform. The evening's just begun. There we go. Knocks her out with chloroform. And then she wakes up, and she's at Neville Sinclair's house. There she has a nosy. She sees he's got a secret room behind a bookcase. Anyway, she pretends to be unconscious again. So here he comes with some smelling salts. Oh, pardon me. And a drink. And he's still trying to be all smooth with her, but and using lines from previous films. But she knows because she's a fan. But I don't think she's a fan anymore, is she? Because she says, do you always use chloroform to seduce women? But anyway, let's make sure we're still going, by the way. Yes, we're still going on there, and we're still going on Rhymble, and we're still going on Twitch, right? So there you go. She's telling him where he's using his lines from, because he's a big faker. Anyway, says can't be comfortable with that gown, so he gives her some nice alternative clothes, very sheer. He says, "Oh, I'll go put this on." By the way, I don't think Jennifer Connelly's. Did I see somewhere she's not that particularly fond of this film? You know, because she's a serious actress now, isn't she? But anyway, sure it's not nap time spray. Could be what he used on her. Anyway, so she goes to get changed. There he's checking his teeth there. He's going in the mirror. Doing his Jasper Carrot thing. I wonder if he knows about Jasper Carrot. Do you know about Jasper Carrot? What's he got between his teeth, Beryl? Looks like a piece of spinach to me. If you know, you know. Anyway, she calls him in. She says, Neville, can you help me? She wants him to unzip her. And as he's helping, she picks up a vase, or vase, as we call it, and clonks him on the head with it. There we go. And knocks him out. She did that in the club as well with somebody. She'd knocked out Lothar as well, so she's really good at knocking people out with vases. Anyway, so she's trying to escape, but she ends up in this room. This is the secret room. There we go. The Conquest of Casanova. She pulls that book out, and the door opens. And in she goes, and it's a secret room, and it's got all Nazi stuff in, and the plans. She's got the plans for the rocket thing, and I think it was what Peebs had drawn up, and Lothar had probably given them to Neville Sinclair. But she's got them back, and she shoves them down her top. But then she finds a radio. And she said, can anybody help me? And then this German voice comes on, Sinclair, sind Sie das, jawohl? Giving it all that. And then she she finds a book, and she says, oh, my God, Neville Sinclair is a... And then the door opens, and he says, what, a spy, a saboteur, a fascist? And he says, all of the above. Anyway. So, she's been captured again. Anyway, so they get Cliff goes back to the cafe. Oh, they must know he's there. I don't know, because the phone rings, and it's Valentine. He says, we've got your girlfriend. Come and meet us at the Griffith Observatory at 4 a.m. Oh, we'll kill her. There you go. So he's writing that down. But then the feds arrive, and there we go, and basically arrest him, put him in handcuffs, and take him to Howard Hughes. Peeves is already there. He says, where's my rocket pack? He says, I need it. I've got to go and save Jenny. So they say, okay, fair enough. Eventually, after a bit of back and forth, and he shows him how the Germans have been developing their own rocket pack and not got it to work. So that's why they wanted, because Howard Hughes had got his one to work, or his team had got it to work, and so they wanted his plans. And then they show a German propaganda film about what they were going to do. Ein neuer Anfang. I don't know. A new age. I don't know. I don't speak German. Showing that what they planned to do. They're going to invade America with rocket men. Would that do it? I don't know. But anyway, there we go. Today Europe, tomorrow the world, yeah, etc. So there we go. So that's what they've got to try and stop. They're saving the world. He says I've got to go and save her. And he tells them it's Neville. There's an agent that they haven't been able to work out who it is, and he says it's Neville Sinclair. So all right, whatever. Don't believe it. There he goes, Neville Sinclair. Anyway, but he escapes. He says we'll take it from here. So he hits him again. And runs out and jumps onto this model of a model of the spruce goose, and he gets away, and yes, I think it is, isn't it? And he says it will fly, glide. Spruce goose is the big plane that he made, isn't it? Is it a new beginning, Winggrace? I knew, whatever. And he says it will fly. Only flew once, didn't it, the spruce goose? Is it still the largest plane ever to fly? I don't know. Anyway. Right, so they're waiting by the Griffith Observatory. And here he comes. There's other saying, here he comes. So he's arrived, and they get ready for the handover. And but obviously, it's not going to go as planned, and Cliff says to Valentine, do you like taking orders from a Nazi? He says, what are you talking about? And they go, do you pay you in dollars or Deutschmarks? Was it Reichsmarks by this time? I don't know, but anyway. So anyway, it's all going to go wrong. Then the feds are going to arrive. Obviously, Valentine's not happy that Neville Sinclair's, a Nazi. But anyway, so suddenly loads of German soldiers appear from somewhere, but very Indiana Jones this bit, I must admit. So they put down the guns, but then the feds arrive. But first the Luxembourg Zeppelin comes over to pick them up. But then the feds arrive. This is the FBI, drop your guns, this is Elliot Ness. So a big shootout happens. Cliff takes out that fella. I don't know who it is. Not got his helmet on, look. He's going to go crashing through this fence, look. With no helmet. So Cliff's dead. Except he's not. The spruce moose that Mr. Burns had. I haven't seen that one. Hail Hydra. Or whatever it was. What it like. Anyway, so Cliff's escaped, or his stuntman has. Is that Batman? I don't know who that is. I think it's just one of the German soldiers, I think. So anyway, now Valentine and the feds are working together and shooting the Germans. There we go. And here comes the Zeppelin. Watch out for that Zeppelin, it's full of hydrogen. Just a clue as what might happen later on. There you go, they got them on the run, but they're going to escape in the Zeppelin. It's not exactly the fastest thing, though, is it? But anyway, up they go. He sends her up the ladder. Here they go. It says, and this some agent who looks, I think he's supposed to be like Tot from Raiders of the Lost Ark. He says, we want the rocket pack. It says, if you have the girl. He keeps putting on a German accent for some reason. So if you have the girl, the rocket will come to us. But sometimes he doesn't. Anyway. Right, so he's got to go and save Jenny now, and he gets a gun off one of the baddies, and then he stands there. He stands there next to the American flag. One of the feds says, "We're losing them." Says, "Maybe not." Says, "Look, go get them, Rocketeer." Somebody says that. There we go. It's the Rocketeer. Hang on, where are we? And I did get a bit kind of. Hang on, where are we? Coming up in a minute. There we go. Go get him, kid. And I went, no. Again. Goosebumps. I gotta find Jenny. Is that a Forrest Gump thing? Don't know. My Jenny. Anyway, so there we go. He's crashing into the Zeppelin. ripping it all and all that stuff. But there he arrives. But he's got to deal with Lothar. So they have a bit of a fight. He's fastened himself to this, so he can't fall off. They're going to have a bit of a fight. And obviously, Cliff wins and Lothar falls. There we go, there he's dangling. Smashes the cockpit window. Somehow makes the pilot fall out. Where's he gone? Does it show it? There we go. The pilot. Where is he? There we go. So the pilot falls out. The windows in this cockpit area they're made of sugar glass. They obviously are. They're not reinforced glass or whatever. They had reinforced glass back then, didn't they? Sure, they've had toughened glass, tempered, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, so they've got to they're losing altitude, so they've got to lower weight. So where are we? So he shoots the hang on, where are we? There we go. Shoots him. Look, the one that's supposed to look like Top from Raiders of the Lost Ark. Shoots him and throws him out. There he goes. So they've lost a bit of weight for the fatherland. But then Cliff's arrived, and so they're going to have a fight in a minute. He slides the rocket pack over to him, and he puts it on. But they're going to have a fight. Well, in a minute, they're going to have a fight first. A bit of back and forth. But where is it? There it is. A flare gun pops out of a box. And Jenny picks it up and shoots. So there's a flare bouncing about. And everything's on fire. But Neville Sinclair thinks he's going to escape now. Cliff had taken off the gum earlier on. He'd taken off the gum. So fuel's pouring out now, as we're going to see in a minute. He's going to leave them to their fate. Goodbye, Jenny. I wish I was, by the way, speaking in a German accent now for some reason. It wasn't lies, Jenny. It was acting. And so off he goes. Someone didn't say Auf Wiedersehen, but there we can see there's fuel coming out of the petrol tank or whatever it runs on. So off he goes and flies away. Thinks he's escaped, but then it all goes wrong. No! And he's going to crash, and he's all going to explode. And he goes heading down to Earth. I go, And as we find out in this, it was Neville Sinclair that destroyed the Hollywoodland sign, turning it into the Hollywood sign. So that's what happened. Not what they told us in the news. They would have all died if it was a real Zeppelin. It's gonna blow up in a minute, isn't it? Anyway, so it's all burning in the cockpit area, but it's all spreading to the rest of the Zeppelin. Look, it's all blowing up. They got up on top, by the way. Lothar's there, so they're running for their lives. Look, it's all blowing up a bit at a time. I'm guessing, is it hydrogen tanks or something? I don't know, but anyway, it's all blowing. Luckily, it's all blowing up a bit at a time and not all at once. So they're all running for their lives. But then Lothar gets stuck. Because remember, he's tethered. Is it going to show it? Oh, for Pete's sake. In a minute. But then Howard Hughes and Peeves arrive in his helicopter plane thing. Here they are. We're only going to get one pass. And they're still running. It's the slowest blowing up Zeppelin ever. But there we go. Lothar's stuck now. He can't carry on, and he can't get his belt off fast enough, and the flames consume him. There he goes. Drop the ladder. They get away just in time. I imagine they're a bit singed. Let's get out of here. Hang on. Because it looks very close, doesn't it? Remember, heat rises. But if there was fire, it don't take long. It don't. This goes down. You ready? Here it goes. There it goes. And Justin says, "Oh, the humanity." Yes, the humanity. It is a good recreation of, I think it is anyway, of what happened to the Hindenburg. Where are we? There it is. The Luxembourg going down. Anyway, so down that goes. I think then we do a dissolve. I think it's a dissolve. Yeah, we go into. She works at the cafe. I can't remember her name. Picking oranges. And there we go. We're learning that the news is reporting that Neville Sinclair died when the Zeppelin landed on his car. There we go. Actor Neville Sinclair was killed in the tragedy when flaming debris fell on his touring car. He says, "Oh, that's a shame. It was a nice car." Anyway, so there you go. Howard Hughes arrives with another GB plane. And says, "Oh, that's a nice plane." Says, "Another bunch of them ready for the Nationals." Anyway, he goes off and gives a little pep talk to Cliff, and they're asking him what were it like, flying the rocket thing. Remember, it's been destroyed now. What would it like? It's the closest to heaven I'll get. And he says, "Well, nearly." And he looks at Jenny because she's hot stuff. But he says, "Anyway, don't ever fly her without this." And he throws him some gum. And then as he looks round, we see, he's giving him the plane. Yeah. So they've got a new plane. Who owns the airfield now, though? Because Bigelow's dead, isn't he? So did they own the air? I don't know. I don't know who's running. I don't know what's happening. Who's inherited? Did he have a family? I don't know. But anyway. But everything's lovely now. And... she gives. Remember, she'd stuffed the plans down her thingy into her bra, and she gives Peeves the plans for the rocket pack. But so he's going to build another. Or he would have, if there'd have been a sequel, I suppose. They have a kiss, and there we go. And then we pull away, and that's the end of the film. Really, really good film. Yeah, it is, but that was a sad incident. Where that happened isn't far from me, says Justin. Yes, the Hindenburg. It was a terrible tragedy, wasn't it? Terrible tragedy. One of the most famous ones in history because it was captured on film, wasn't it? But anyway, so that's the end of the Rocketeer. Really, really good film. I don't think there's an end credits thing. They didn't do those back then, did they? No, it just ends. But yeah, really, really good film. A good old-fashioned adventure movie. Pardon me, with a lot of heart and some great acting and characters. And why didn't Billy Campbell become a massive star? I don't know. He kind of became a star, but he wasn't a massive star, was he? He could have been. But just said there was going to be a second movie, but first movie didn't make. No, it didn't do well enough. Yeah, so it was cancelled. It is a shame. It is a shame. The Rocketeer will return in Avengers Doomsday. That'd be cool, wouldn't it? That'd be cool. Should bring him back. Bring back the Rocketeer. Return of the Rocketeer with Billy Campbell playing the Peeves role, and a young Rocketeer picking up the mantle. Anyway. So there we go. That's the end of the Rocketeer. Really, 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 really good film. I do like it, but don't get the cheapo Blu-ray off Amazon. I think it was on like $7.99 or something like that. I thought, well, I'll get it. No special features apart from a trailer. There's a trailer. It says on special features. It says trailer, and then underneath it says info. I thought, oh, I wonder what that is. I wonder if that's info about the film. So I clicked on info, and it just come up with that, that card that comes up. And it says like all opinions and all what is it? All opinions in commentaries or documentaries do not represent the opinions of Disney and all that stuff. That's all it said. And there aren't even any commentaries on. I'm sure there's a 2-disc or there'll be a special edition that's got stuff on, but the cheaper one don't. It's all miffed, but never mind. I also got a Blu-ray of Valley of Guanji, and that's crap as well. Really disappointed in that. Got that off eBay. Don't buy it off eBay. But anyway, whatever. Justin says it's a classic film, but yes, it is. It is a really, really good film. So anyway, so there we go. That's the end of the Rocketeer. Really, really good film. Bring it back. We want the return of the Rocketeer. That's what we want. Right, get rid of that. Right, so we'll leave it there. As I said, it's a good old-fashioned adventure. I think I've put in the... If you want to watch it, it's obviously on Disney Plus. It's on there. I think you can buy or rent it on Amazon and YouTube, in the UK at least. But and it is on Blu-ray. Great film, great film. Right, so let's have a look. What's coming up next? Because I've forgotten. What day are we on? Monday, Wednesday. We'll be doing the next part of my views on every episode of Star Trek, classic Star Trek. So we're on to season 1 of Deep Space Nine. So we'll be doing that on Wednesday, and then on Friday, for Appointment with Fear this week is Final Destination 2. So we'll be doing that. Everybody after Final Destination 2, nobody liked driving behind a logging truck, did they? I think it's probably the best one of the series, in my opinion, is Final Destination 2. But that's on Friday. Right, we're done. We'll leave it there. We will leave it there. So I think next week we'll do Valley of Guanji. Yeah, let's do Valley of Guanji next week. One of my favourites. Right, so thanks Wingrace and Justin34 and Josh Temple. I think that's all we had, wasn't it? I don't think anybody else popped in, did they? No. Right. So thanks for keeping me company while I waffle on about the Rocketeer. Justin says there's a new Final Destination coming. Yes, there is. Is it Bloodlines? Final Destination Bloodlines. And I've heard it's good from people that have seen it. But anyway. Tiny Todd. Tiny Ron to Tony Todd. Yes, that's coming. It's from the Final Destination Bloodlines. And I've heard it's good. I hope it is. Right, so we'll leave it there. So thanks for watching, everybody. Look after each other. And until next time, I'm trying to find my stuff. There we go. And until next time, what am I like? I'll say the...